Hello everyone! Today we'll be talking about how to land a data science job at a startup as a part of DataFest 2020 career track. My name is Pavel Pleskov and I'm a machine learning engineer at Praxis, a San Francisco based startup. For the past 6 years, I've been working for quite a few startups. All of them were remote, so I know a thing or two how to get there, what the troubles are, what skill set you need, and I would like to share all this information with you. During COVID time, there are a lot of people who switched to remote job, and they started to think if they want to switch to working for a startup. And if you ever try to get a job like this, it's really hard. So I will try to navigate you through the process and the skill set. So let's first talk about the difference between working for a big tech and working for a startup. They're actually on different sides of the spectrum. Startups could consist of like 10 people, and there are tens or thousands people working for a Google, which is an established company, and now it's 22 years old. Definitely, there are some companies in between, but we will try to focus on these two types. So the main differences are in the structure, in the freedom you are given. So in the startup, you are much more flexible in technology you can use and tasks you will be performing, and they're going to be a huge variety of problems you will be solving. But it also involves less structure throughout the entire processes, starting with hiring, communication, working, getting feedback, and so on. So I'll give you an example. A friend of mine landed a job at Facebook London, and he had a cat. So there was a special manager dedicated to transporting this cat to London at Facebook. You would not expect something similar to be happening at a startup. So, and one other difference between startups and big tech. So, right now during COVID times, big companies they don't hire remotely. They did switch most of their employees to remote work, but they just don't hire remotely. And in a startup, you still have this opportunity. So let's think about the skills startups are looking for in a remote machine learning engineers. Try imagining that you're a CEO. What would you expect from the specialist you are about to hire? So, first and foremost, you should be working independently. So, you will be given a task, and uh, you will not be expected to be managed a lot. And every problem you will encounter, you will probably solve on your own. So you will definitely be able to ask for help and get some additional resources, but you should have some entrepreneurial skills in solving problems and some business sense to don't waste a lot of time on things which do not matter in terms of business, in terms of money. And this is one of the reasons why junior specialists usually don't are usually not hired at remote startups. So CEOs usually looking for mid or senior level specialists because they can be trusted and they can work independently. So other skill is that you need to clear communicate the result of your work, and this requires a decent level of English. And it doesn't mean you need to be fluent, but your English is inversely proportional to the level of hard skills you have. So if you worked for Google for last 10 years, then I guess CEO can tolerate the lack of your English speaking abilities. But if it's not the case, then try to invest some time in improving your language skills. It takes about 2 or 3 months, a lot of time, not that huge amount of money, but you can definitely level up and increase your chances of getting hired if you improve your English speaking skills. trustworthiness is also essential, since you'll be working remotely. You will be flexible in time you spend on your work, and uh, the quality of your work depends only on you. So the last things is fast iterations. Since it's a startup environment, you would need to test a lot of hypotheses, and most of them will end up as a failure. And you should have a mindset of failing a lot, and that's what startups do. So let's talk about one more aspect of a skill set. These are soft skills. I know that a lot of engineers put a lot of emphasis on the hard skills. So how good I am at writing Python code, or how proficient I am at PyTorch, and so on. But this is just a part of the picture. So as a remote worker, as I already said, you will be presenting your work. You will be working on a team. You will be communicating with other team members, and this is all in the realm of the soft skills. So make sure that you develop them as well. And when you're trying to land a job, you will be selling yourself, selling your profile to CEOs, to CTOs. So make sure you practice elevator pitch a lot. It's a concept from management consulting and investment banking. When you have to present your work in a very short period of time, like in 30 seconds, you need to explain what you're doing. This is something you can practice in front of a mirror or a friend, and this is what you need to practice. The other really useful soft skill is public speaking skill. So you can develop it if you're a speaker at the conference. There are a lot of opportunities to be a speaker right now on online conferences. In my experience, it's really useful to be a teacher assistant at a university or a lecturer. So you'll be performing in front of a crowd. Attending English-speaking clubs or other speaking clubs is also useful. Even such thing as dating, talking to a random person helps a lot in developing such skills. Let's talk about where startups get the candidates for a job. One of the main sources is Kaggle ranking. And the problem with Kaggle ranking is that it doesn't necessarily reflect the skills of machine learning engineers. It's a bit biased, and but it's the best and the most convenient way to get a bunch of high-level profiles. A lot of people ask where in the ranking should I be in order to draw attention from startups. So should I be in the top 1,000, maybe 500, 100, or maybe top 10? So, and the question is the answer is the following. So imagine you are a CTO of a startup, and you started to manually scrape profiles from a Kaggle ranking. You fill up the table with all the contacts of the people, and then started to write personalized emails and in order to hire these people. So when will you give up? That's the will you give up after scraping through 100 profiles, 200 or more? And that's the answer to a question. But if you don't have a boosted Kaggle profile, then there are other ways how you can draw attention to your profile. One of the ways is to maintain a nice pet project and upload your code to GitHub or GitLab. So the sources of pet projects come from different ways. It could be your personal pain. You can solve some business problems you encountered during your work. You can care a lot about your hobby, for example, and try to solve the problem in this realm. Sometimes pet projects can grow into startups themselves. So you can just solve the problem of finding a remote startup by developing your own. So I know that a lot of people a little bit shy about sharing your code, your work. They suffer from imposter syndrome, but it's still really worth to share your work and well document your work, because this will reflect to the potential employer the skills that we discussed, that you can work independently, you can solve a piece of a problem, you can communicate your results. So make sure that you invest your time and effort in some open source code and maintain your pet project. What is the main source for finding remote startup jobs? This is definitely angel.co website, and there are plenty of opportunities there, and I have some tips on how to search for a job. So when you apply for a job, there is a personal note you can leave for a CEO or CTO of a startup, and make sure you actually write it, because once I was trying to hire a CTO for a startup, and there was like hundreds and hundreds applicants, and you need to get rid of most of them, because you physically will not be able to screen through all the profiles. So you're trying to find some minor things. For example, this person doesn't have necessary experience, and you eliminate his profile, and so on. But when you see a personalized note, then you know that this applicant spent some time and devoted his time and effort on applying for this job. So you will probably put him in a different bucket, in a bucket of people you would like to screen personally. During my time of finding startup jobs, I actually never filled this personalized note thing, but it still had some responses, but it will definitely increase your chance rather than just applying with the empty notes. So let's talk about LinkedIn. LinkedIn, for me, from my experience, is not really useful in finding startup jobs. It's more a way for recruiters to find employees for established companies, and at my best times I had like 2 or 3 messages per day from different kind of recruiters try to offer me some opportunities. So your LinkedIn profile should be in place. There should be up to date, relevant information there, but don't expect to find a remote startup job there. The only thing you can use it for is to understand how exposed your profile is. If you see that recruiters write messages to you, then you are on a good track, and your profile is exposed, and your profile draws attention, and so on. So, and if you see that nobody writes to you, then it's a sign that you need to change something in your strategy. So Facebook profile. So Facebook profile is a reflection of your real life, not professional life, and a lot of CEOs and CTOs will look for your name there. They would love to understand your hobbies. If you have some life beyond just your profession, beyond the writing code and so on. And as you saw a lot of startup web pages, there are often a page called Our Team, and there are images and a short paragraph about each team member placed there. And make sure that you have some kind of a story reflected on your Facebook page, which could be easily transferred to this Our Team page, because every CEO is thinking how this person could be a part of our team. Does he or she have some interesting hobbies and so on? So Facebook page should be filled up and reflect your non-professional life. So let's talk about free online courses. There is the most popular course from Andrew Ng on machine learning, and everybody just happy to put this line on their resume that they listened for this course, that they passed it, but it's not really useful from the point of view of distinguishing your resume from others. So, like, if everybody saw this course, then it will not give you a lot of points in the hiring process. But online courses are still really useful if you will be able to get some practice from doing homework, or even better from doing Kaggle competitions or any other competitions. But putting these achievements on your resume will probably not help a lot. So paid online offline courses or certificates. I don't consider this is a useful tool for developing your skills, because right now we have a lot of free courses, and you can boost your skills there, and you actually don't need to pay some money to somebody to help you. One useful thing you can get from paid online or offline courses is networking. So if you are surrounded by your peers who also trying to understand the subject of machine learning, you may get some really useful connections from this collaboration. Maybe some people from the business trying to boost their skills in data science or machine learning, and I believe this is the only useful thing you need to pay money for. Talking about networking, so throughout my career and experience, I had several workplaces which I got due to networking, and this networking I got from attending schools and universities, and this is the main source of really decent networking. Some people try to boost this further, and they go to obtain MBA, and this is also a really great source of boosting your networking. But there are other ways. So a typical example you may imagine is playing golf. So we all know that high-level business people, they play golf, they talk to each other, they maintain connections, and this is a way to boost your networking skills. But you can use other hobbies as well, like cycling, running, like playing squash, tennis, you name it. So there are a lot of interesting people doing different kinds of sports, not only sports. So you can boost your network there as well. And there are also currently other ways, like online ways, like a random coffee, which you can leverage to boost your network. One book I would love to recommend you on networking is called Never Eat Alone, and the main idea I got from the book So there are generally three things people care during their like mid ages. This is health, their kids, and money. So if you could provide any advice on how to manage one of these things, for example, you have a nice dentist and you can recommend it to another person, or like a great teacher at some school at your town, or some money investment strategy, then that could definitely benefit you in establishing great connections. But yeah, definitely recommend this book. It will boost your networking skills. The other book I would love to recommend is called "So Good They Can't Ignore You." So it's all about how when you develop and boost your skills, your hard skills and soft skills, then you will become more flexible in what job and what opportunities you will have. It will increase your bargaining power. There are a lot of useful tips there, but I think that this is the main idea. So become a more advanced professional, and then you will have more opportunities. But I think this is kind of an obvious idea, but that's what helped me to get a lot of jobs at startups as well, and that's actually a way to land a job. So this is almost all I wanted to say about the tips on how to land a data science or machine learning job at a startup. I hope it was useful for you to understand what helps and what skills you need to have in order to get the job. But please keep in mind that working for a startup remotely is not for everybody. So there is a funny thing about like rich people. It is considered that all rich people should enjoy yachting because it's expensive, it's for high profile, it's a high profile hobby, and so on. But some of the people just have sea sickness and they don't enjoy yachting, but still their position required them to do this hobby. So working for a remote startup is not for everybody. If you don't feel like it's for you, then please don't force it. Maybe it's better for you to work for a large corporation or start your own business or I don't know, go to non-profit company. So thank you for listening and bye bye.